Welcome to the Season Podcast, episode 29. This is a very, very special episode for a number of different reasons. We have a phenomenal guest here today that I'm going to introduce momentarily. But the first thing I want to do, this man that sits across from me turns 37 years old today. How about that? Makes me want to cry, man. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
37 years.
37.
Man, you're young. That's crazy.
Yeah.
We'll sing happy birthday to you later. I might have to bring in our other guest or bring in our guest to do that. But reminder to everybody listening, if you're listening to us on YouTube, hit subscribe and check us out on social media at The Season Pod, the SZN Pod on Instagram, and you can also listen to us on Apple and Spotify as well. You obviously found a way to get here if you're listening to us today. Let's make no more delays. Let's get to our next guest. We only have great guests on this show, by the way. If you look at our list of guests so far in the first year of the season, they've all been fantastic, and this one's no different. This guy was a 6th-round pick by the Browns in 2012. I actually played with him in 2012 and traded to the Eagles in 2013. NFL veteran. He's kind of a media mogul now, right? I mean, look at what he's done. He's a multi-talented TV personality. He's been on everything from the Longhorn Network to The Bachelor to hosting one of his own shows on FS1 to now doing his own show on YouTube, The Speakeasy with Shady McCoy. How about that guy? I got a Shady McCoy story I want to tell shortly as well. He's also an author. Wrote a book that was number one bestseller for the New York Times.
It's impressive.
When I say this dude is talented, it's an understatement. The Season would like to welcome Emmanuel Acho to the show.
Hey, thank you. And happy birthday, Nick.
Thank you, man. I was talking to my mom and dad earlier, and I told them they asked what I was doing today. I was like, we had the kids go to school, had to get some work done on my truck, and I'm like, we have Acho coming on the Season Pod. My dad's like, oh, when's it going to be up? Make sure when you're live, you tell him your mom and dad say hi to Acho. So they want directly from me to you. They want me to tell you hi. So they love you, man. They love you and your brother.
I think I texted Mama Foles 3 weeks. Whenever I'm in Austin, I just think of her and shoot her a text. So I think I texted her 3 weeks ago. But I love that family. Y'all know, weren't we all roommates for like a day in Philadelphia?
That's right.
In South Philly,
only one day.
Packer Park.
One day. And then I had the privilege of sitting next to Emmanuel for pretty much, it was at least 3 quarters of Super Bowl 52. So when you guys won in Minnesota, I sat next to Emmanuel pretty much the whole game. I grabbed him a few times. I was nervous. Like when you did Philly special, I grabbed him. He's like, dang, dude, how nervous are you? Relax.
This is a true story. When I got traded from Cleveland to Philly, I think Mama Foles texted me like, hey, my son's on the team. Here's his number, blah, blah, blah. Evan, I think, was in the guest room.
Yeah.
I think I was on like the couch. Then Nick was Nick, because Nick's house. And then, Evan, did you get released or traded or retired or something?
Bring that up, man. I got released.
Is this the off season?
Yeah, this was the 13 off season.
This was the 13 off season. Yeah, and then you got the bedroom.
I got upgraded to the guest room.
So we've all seen that scene in Good Will Hunting where, like, at the end, he's not there, so he jumps in the front seat. That was Acho. Like, he realized I got released. He looks at the side bedroom. He's like, I get a bed now. And jumped in my bed.
Body wasn't even cold yet, Evan. Body wasn't even cold.
Yeah. And then Cody Parkey, I think, rented that place after I had brought my bed in there. And then Cody, I think, took my bed from that place. And, like, many years later, he's like, bro, like when he was, I don't know if on the Bears, were still got the bed from Packer Park. So that unit, man, those were some special days. We were all trying to figure it out.
The stories are great. Like, your co-host, Shady McCoy, love him. Obviously, like, I was only with him for a very short period of time. Nick was with him longer. Towards the end of my time in Philly, though, it was the spring in 2013. And he was running around the locker room saying, hey, I'm the bookie. Does anyone want to bet? I said, well, bet on what? It was the NBA playoffs at the time. He's like, NBA playoffs. And the Lakers were about to start a series against the Spurs. The Spurs were like the 7th seed. They were terrible. And the Lakers were the 1 seed. And in Vegas, the odds on the Lakers were like heavy favorites, right? I would have had to bet so much money to win decent money on the Lakers. But he goes, yeah, I'll take anything. I said, okay, how about like Lakers and Spurs just straight up in a 7-game series? He's like, yeah, sounds good. I'm like, oh my God, he's going to take this bet? How much will he let? I'm like, how much will you bet? He goes, whatever. I'm like, well, let's do 3,000. He's like, sounds good. So in the middle of that series, and the Lakers were a massive favorite, I get released. So I'm like, damn, I'm probably not gonna be able to collect on that. He's not gonna fight. So I texted Nick at the end. I said, hey, just so you know, I had this bet with Shady. The Lakers ended up winning. I think they swept them. Will you collect for me thinking there's no chance? Nick texts me like 2 days later. He goes, I got your money, man. He paid up. I could not believe it. I couldn't believe it. So you tell Shady he's a good man for paying up way after the fact. I wasn't even in town anymore.
Shady, he going to pay his best. I got one more story before we get started.
Yeah.
And I think of this story once every quarter. I'm sorry, Evan, for sharing it. I get drafted to Cleveland. I'm a rookie. I'm a young pup.
Oh, I know where
Evan's a vet. Man, all the things. It's the funniest story of my life.
I think I know where he's going.
We finish a preseason game, and our head coach, Pat Shermer, comes up in front of the whole team meeting. I'm just a pup, wet behind the ears. Pat Shermer says, we got one guy on this team, and I just don't know if we can win with this behavior. Everybody's like, what happened? What happened? He said, it's a preseason game. A bunch of guys go down. I look at this veteran and I ask him, hey, you need to get back in the game. He looked at me and said, is there no one else? Is there no one else? So I guess Evan was already out for the game. He's a vet. He should be done playing.
My shoes. I cut my tape off.
A tight end went down, Nick. This is a true story. I promise this is a true story. Every listener, this is true. This is how I met Evan Moore. I guess Shermer asked Evan to go back into the game. And like a scene in Gladiator, Russell Crowe, he looks around the whole stadium, hands out wide. Is there no one else? Is there no one else to send in? Bro, I think about this story, Evan. This must have happened. It's 2026.
Remember that.
So this would have happened 14 years ago, and I will never forget that moment.
The story's true, but there's one adjustment to the story. And the reason I thought about this 2 days ago, because I was watching the Bills, and their special teams coach is Chris Tabor.
Tabor, yes, he is.
So the only adjustment to the story to make it extra true is that it was Tabor that asked me if I would run down on kickoff. Okay, so I'm not that bad of a teammate. He goes, can you run down on kickoff? I had untied my shoes, my shoulder pad, and that's when I'm like, is there nobody else? And I said, just let me know. So then he goes to Pat and goes, you're not going to believe what this dude just said. So I saw Tabor on the thing. I'm like, you little snitch, man. You went over to Pat Shermer and told him what I said. I want to slap this. Anyways, now I'm getting all heated. Now I'm like sweating, man.
I mean, in all fairness, you got a veteran tight end running down on kickoff.
In the fourth quarter of the preseason.
Listen, preseason when you're a vet, you're just like when you got, you're just trying to do your job, and then once they tell you you're done, you're usually done, and then they pull that, hey, get back in there. Hey, you're going down on kickoff. I mean, listen, Ev's 6'6", 6'7", at this time, 250 something pounds, running down on kickoff. I mean, you just.
Oh, so you agree with me? Thank you.
No, I mean, I think it was a dumb. Listen, Tabor was in Chicago, and I was with Taves, but like, you don't got to throw your guys. Go get a rookie.
They threw me on the bus.
Go get a rookie. Yeah. This is late in the preseason. Go get a rookie and run down on kickoff.
And then he not only threw him under the bus, like, you know how stories are in locker rooms. They get cinematized.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't just like, oh, is there anybody else? It was like now the legend of Evan in that locker room grew to, like, he stands with his palms out looking at all of the stadium asking, like,
blood and sweat dripping from his body. Hey, what game? Was this against the Eagles? What game was this?
No, I think it was at Detroit. I think. Was it, Acho? I think. It sounds familiar.
I think it was just like a preseason game 2 or something.
Yeah, Ev has some.
I was mad I was even playing.
You have some opinion. I played for Pat. You have some opinions about Pat. We won't get into those.
We stay positive on the season.
We do stay positive, but that's what I'll say. I remember my rookie year we played you on the preseason, so like I got to play, but it was cool because I'm dating Tori at the time. We hadn't got married or engaged. We're dating, and then Ev's on the other side, so I'm obviously excited to see him and Colt. But Ev caught like a corner route for a touchdown and just.
I spiked it so hard.
He spiked
that
the
same
ball
preseason. I spiked it
so hard. I remember looking from the side. I was like, he's got a lot of built-up emotion right now.
I was so angry.
Yeah,
I got released like 3 days later. Too.
But
they could tell how angry I was.
But it's like you're catching touchdowns against the Eagles and doing these things, and I think sometimes it gets into it with the head coach. I mean, obviously it didn't work out for Pat as a head coach.
We didn't get along.
And honestly, there's a lot of coaches out there that aren't meant to be head coaches.
When I got released, just to be like, no problem bringing this up, and no sour grapes. It's a long time, but. When I left, like I was leaving the office after getting released, and Pat's not the one that released me. Our GM did, Tom Heckert, rest in peace. Mm-hmm. And Pat was waiting in his office as I walked out, and Pat goes, "Hey, you got time? You want to talk?" I'm like, "No, I'm good." Like, He goes, really? I'm like, I'm good, dude. I'm totally good. Like, it's not going to save my job, but this is a waste of, I am beelining for the door. And I signed with Seattle. Anyway, water under the bridge. But those are fun NFL stories.
Man, I
No
haven't
question
thought about
that.
those stories. That brings back so many emotions.
Is there nobody else?
and then a year later, we're all living
We're
together.
living together.
Man, I went out and bought an X. I remember Tori doesn't like video games. I remember I went out and bought an Xbox and we
Yeah.
were like playing video games.
Yeah.
That might have been the last time I was allowed to play
Yeah.
video games.
I was damaged goods by the time I got to you, man. It was like, I've been through a lot. Anyway, all right, Acho, I'd love to tell you stories all day long, but I know we don't have you forever, and we got to get some good opinions from you on our show. As we've had some great discourse all year long. I want to start. Look, this has been a crazy divisional weekend. A lot of things happened. There's 10 openings in the head coaching market. 3 of them have already been filled. I want to get to those things because Championship Sunday is going to be amazing. These matchups are fantastic. You even get this curveball thrown at us with Jarrett Stidham as the starter for Denver. But I want to start here with you. Let me go chronologically and go back to more regular season chatter all the way through the playoffs. And I want to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles real quick because I know you spent some time with them. Obviously, Nick has had some strong opinions as well. We'll do a little bit of a post-mortem. So there's some like specific questions that we have, but generally speaking, when we talk about a team on offense that returned 10 of 11 starters and that those starters last year dominated in the playoffs and were just bludgeoning people throughout the playoffs and won a Super Bowl, things looked pretty damn good on the defensive side. They looked incredible on the defensive side. And it was rough on the offensive side of the ball for most of the year. What is your general sense of why things played out the way they did this year on the offensive side of the ball?
I think the first thing not enough people talk about, the O-line was way more injured than we thought. And because it's a bunch of tough guys, Cam Jurgens doesn't complain. Number 69, Dickerson, he never complains. But if you listen closely, press conferences tell you everything you need to know. After the Eagles got eliminated, Dickerson's sitting there at his presser getting interviewed by McClain or one of the local beat guys. And he's like, I don't know what all I was dealing with this year. Like that extensive. Obviously, Lane Johnson missed maybe 5 or 6 games in there. And I think the absence of Mekhi Becton, it mattered.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think the Eagles thought they was going to be all right. I think that mattered. So offensive line, no good. And as a result, the Eagles' run game, no good. But then if we're being honest, I don't know that the coaching staff got better. And not talking about the dudes that were replaced. I'm talking about like Sirianni. How are you getting better every year? Mm-hmm. If players are tasked to get better, if Foles got to get better, if he's got to get better with his drops, with his reads, if Evans got to get better in and out of breaks, if Acho has to get better dissecting offenses, Sirianni, how'd you get better? I don't know that your people management got any better because A.J. Brown went from reading books to being irate on the sideline to Instagram posts again. I don't know that your play calling got any better because you still chose not to call plays. So I don't know that the coaching staff got better on the offensive side of the ball. Defensive side of the ball, I still think they took strides. And I think they also acquired pieces that got better and players got better. DeJean took a step forward. Quinyon Mitchell took a step forward. Mm-hmm. Acquiring Jalen Phillips, that mattered tremendously. Makuba was starting to get better prior to getting injured. And Zach Bond, he didn't take a step forward, but he didn't regress so much that it truly mattered. Nakobe Dean, when he got back healthy, he took a step forward. So truth be told, injuries and the lack of progression from the offensive staff that came back, in my mind, was the biggest thing.
There's also, like, if we get more specific to games, too, like, adjustments were difficult for them, obviously, because this is a team that failed to score a touchdown in the second half or after halftime in 6 games this year, including their playoff loss, right? And so yeah. I know, at times we've been on Patullo, rightfully so, about creativity, scheme, and all that. Execution, to your point, also fell off from an offensive line standpoint, running the football and all that. But if we're talking strictly about the staff, I mean, yeah, adjustments seem to be an issue for them throughout the season because they regularly got outplayed in second halves of games, which is a problem.
Correct. And if we're being honest, though, winning cures all, we say, but that's starting to be one of the biggest lies for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
Everybody overlooks crap because they win. How can we be surprised that the offense doesn't score in the second half when Jalen Hurts didn't complete a pass in the second half versus the Bills?
Yeah.
Sure, they won the game 13-12, but at the point in which, and y'all got to help me out, it may have been a Packers game, or there was one other game during the course of the season where Jalen Hurts didn't complete a pass in a half. Like, yeah. That's nearly inconceivable in an NFL game to not complete a pass. We can't complete a now screen, a hitch, a tunnel screen. We can't complete nothing. So the fact that happened in the regular season, we can't be shocked and start clutching pearls when the playoff game happens and all of a sudden the offense is stagnant in the second half. We saw it all season. We just overlooked it because we won the Bills game.
Yeah.
No, I think that's good. I think another thing, just dissecting the offense, and that's what we did sort of at the second half of the season. I started diving in deeper conceptually and just seeing if there's any rhyme or reason. And there was like simple fixes. All right, we're going to go under center. We're going to run the ball under center. All right, that's great. What are you doing off of runs under center? And you played linebacker, obviously tight end. Well, we're going to do some play action. All right, that's great. But there's something that was really missing from their DNA, and that's just bootlegs, nakeds and bootlegs. I know if you study the Indianapolis Colts, a lot of their offense was, hey, we're going to run the ball with Jonathan Taylor, and we're going to run 8-9 boots a game because why? They play off each other. You're going to run this way. Hey, now we're going to play fake, and we're going to, with a quarterback that can run, and then we're going to flip our hips. We're going to have, tight end sliding underneath. We're going to have crosses coming over. Those are easy completions. Those are breather plays. Whenever I would have a bootleg called, I'd be like, man, this is a breather. I remember in 18, we had a bootleg called. We were playing in the divisional round against the New Orleans Saints. I don't know if it was our opening drive, but it was early in the game. It was to the left. It was bunch formation. We had a corner route, a little pivot across. Man, I flip my hips, and I'm just breathe. It's just a breather play. You're moving the pocket. You're letting the O-line. You can see who's chasing you. You can see who's in front of you. I flip my hips and throw a touchdown to Jordan Matthews. Those are breather plays, even though they're explosives right out there. I mean, there's so many times that, those are movement. Those are easy solves. Those are something that you do when your offense is struggling to get back in rhythm is, hey, if we're going to do this under center thing, what goes off of under center? I agree. Hey, there's screens. There's halfback screens. Let's help our O-line out. Hey, there's play action. That's wonderful. Hey, you can even do some quick game under center if you want to mess around with it. But, man, I don't know why the Eagles weren't doing 6 to 8 bootlegs a game. I think that would have been an easy solve to help them with their rhythm and timing and sort of help their O-line out. I know, obviously, you're saying more injuries, and those guys are tough, man. They're coached well. They're tough. That's part of their DNA. But let's help them out and get some more movements involved.
Well, if you think about it, fellas, nothing was easy for the Eagles offense this year.
No.
That was the problem. Like, everything was difficult. I was rewatching the Broncos game with Sean Payton. We'll talk more about that momentarily. But I was just breaking it down schematically. Bro, Bo Nix has a bunch of half-field reads, a bunch of rollouts, a bunch of sprint rights, a bunch of like, Bo, I'm going to make this as easy on you as possible. And then Sean Payton's like, oh, wait a second. Backup safety in for the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to do a roll right. Jordan Humphrey, I'm going to have you go all the way back across the formation. Easy 40-yard touchdown. That's all Sean Payton. Like, he makes it so easy for his offense, where for the Eagles, nothing was easy. And if we're being honest, everybody has to look in the mirror and say, who am I and who are they? And I don't think Eagles players and coaches do that enough. Jalen Hurts has to look in the mirror and say, who am I? I am a moderately good passer. I am an incredible winner. And I'm a really good runner. Why the hell am I not running more?
Yeah. That was something that fell off big time this year.
And that's the great thing with movements that we're talking about, like bootlegs. And this is something that whatever OC comes in and they hire, like you're going to do that. The great thing about Jalen Hurts that is different than like a quarterback like myself, I'm not a running quarterback, but I can do bootlegs and stuff, is he's also a threat to gain 5, 10, 15, 20 yards on an – you have to – what happens is the defensive players, and you know this from playing linebacker, you see the boot, you then shift and you flow because you know conceptually what's coming behind a bootleg. Now you have to be aware of him as a runner. So then you might, if he just does a pump fake or whatever, you have to come down on, you have to honor him as a runner. Whereas a quarterback like myself, and I'm using myself as, you don't have to really honor me, because even if I do take off full speed, you're going to catch up to me and I'll only get 5-6 yards. He could blow it out and score a touchdown. So that's things that they have to look at it. And you're talking about coaches holding each other accountable, growing. I love that you said that. That's unique. I think what we see too, you're a Super Bowl champion team, and I do think there is a danger, and a lot of teams do this, hiring from within. I think we've seen this a couple times with the Eagles with Brian Johnson and now Kevin Patullo. You're giving guys who haven't really called plays this Ferrari, this car.
The Lions just went through it.
And they don't know how to drive it, and that's where the Eagles, after all that, were like, hey, we're not doing that. We're bringing in Kellen Moore. Like, we got to bring in a proven play caller, because the thing is, they have a championship roster. They have a championship skill set on even if their O-line is banged up, they had plenty of talent on the O-line to be a, top 10 offense. That'd be very dynamic, very dangerous, do things, but they just never found rhythm. And we talked about it throughout the year. There was only a few games where they had those good games, but there was never consistent rhythm throughout the game where you were like, oh yeah, that's complete. It was little like spurts, like, oh, that was a good drive. Where to go? It went away for three series. Okay, 3 and out. So they got a lot of work, but I think they realize that they're going to go out and get a play caller that is a proven play caller to come in there and take over.
One of the hard parts is. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm going to say this. If I'm Jeffrey Lurie or Howie Roseman, my command and my demand to Nick Sirianni is learn how to call plays. It's both a command and a demand.
Yeah.
It's learn how to call plays. It's, hey, bro, we don't play another game for 7 months. Go get better at that. Yeah, you're a great leader of men. You're a pretty good identifier of coaches. You're 50-50.
Yeah,
50-50. But, like, learn how to call plays, because the Eagles didn't lose the Super Bowl last Sunday or in the wild card round. The Eagles lost the opportunity at a Super Bowl the moment they hired Kevin Patullo. It's when they lost it.
Yeah.
They lost it on that day, the day they hired Patullo. Because Sirianni can't take over the reins, once you make that wrong hire, you're screwed for another 11 months.
Yeah.
Like, what I love about Dan Campbell, by week 7, he said, to hell with this. I'm going to call these plays. What I love about Sean McDermott, if y'all remember, after the 13 seconds where the Kansas City Chiefs come back and beat the Buffalo Bills, do it, Kels, do it, Kels. For those watching, listening, don't know what I'm referencing, go YouTube it later. Sean McDermott said, hey, Leslie Frazier, hey, bro, you ain't got to go home. You got to get the hell up out of here. I'm going to call the defense. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Good decision, bad decision. I love a coach who has the ability to say, oh, dang, you can't do it? Bet. I'll do it.
Yeah.
If the Eagles do not have that coach, they are forever hamstrung by their offensive coordinator. So regardless of the Ferrari, your governor on your vehicle is your OC. And you can't take out the governor while you're driving down the highway, the figurative highway being the middle of the season.
Yep.
You're stuck. You're stuck. So that's my point of tension.
Yeah. Because of all this, a couple weeks ago I made the point on here, and this is maybe a hair extreme, but I did it to illustrate what we're talking about here. And that is that I struggled to identify with Nick Sirianni. I struggled to identify like exportable skills, like skills that could be exported to another job. And so to make that point, I said, let's just like hypothetically, let's say Nick Sirianni, and I did not think he was going to be fired, but let's say he was fired today. How many other organizations would be bending over backwards to go hire him as their head coach? All right. You make a list of pros and cons. The pro is obviously, hey, he's been to 2 Super Bowls and won 1. All right. Not many coaches can say that. But then if you, as you try to get very specific and identify skills that we can export to our organization, it's hard to put your finger on those with him. It's really difficult, right? I mean, yeah, you say good leader, right? Generally speaking, but then I could show you a video where he's yelling at A.J. Brown on the sideline. Like, I'm not saying it's all A.J. Brown's fault. I'm not saying it's all Nick Sirianni's fault. But I think it does underscore exactly what we're talking about here. I'm not saying the Eagles should move on from him right now, but I'm saying it does spell, it probably explains some of the troubles they had in overcoming these things this year that probably were able to be conquered to better than they were, to a point where they would have been more competitive in the playoffs. Agreed?
Agreed wholeheartedly. I also believe players are a reflection of their coach. So at this junction in time, you would have to tell me, what does Nick Sirianni do at an elite level? I could tell you what Mike Vrabel does. Yeah. I could tell you what Peyton does. I could tell you who else is in the championship round. Hell, I could tell you what Mike McDonald does.
McVay's
easy. And what McVay does.
Yeah. Yeah,
like, I don't know.
We used other guys as an example. We used Matt LaFleur as an example. Elite play caller, right? John Harbaugh was an example. Like, elite culture builder, good hire. He can also step in and meddle if he needs to, right? Like, those guys, you can give specific examples. It's hard with Nick Sirianni, especially after this year.
I think if I was just looking at it, and I would say I'd be like, strong personality that, you know, maybe got away from it a few years ago with his authenticity, trying to be something, and then got back to it. That's, you know, the previous year with Brian Johnson before the Super Bowl, the players wanted him to be more like he was, like edgy, like aggressive. They wanted to see more of that. So he was more like that during the Super Bowl year. So we know when coaches stand in front of the room, the authenticity matters. When someone's authentic, good or bad, whatever it is, like if it's their real self, it resonates with us. So I would say if you asked, what does Nick Sirianni have? I think the players resonate with him because he tries to keep it real with them. He tries, you know, and that might be his personality with A.J. Brown on the side. That's just who he is. It resonates well with the Philadelphia. I mean, being from there, doing those things, like that is the crowd. It's aggressive. It's, you know, emotional. He is all those things. So guys resonate with that. That's why he's been able to lead men, but he needs those great coaches, right? I mean, we all know from being players, you have to have great coaches. All these teams have players and everything, but the different, I mean, we saw it.
Here's my tension, though, Nick. It's like, I don't mind if he needed a great defensive coach because he's an offensive mind.
Yeah.
I'll remember 2 years ago when they started the season with Sean Desai. Nick, you might remember Sean Desai from the Chicago Bears.
Yep.
Started the season with Sean Desai. Oh, crap, he doesn't work. Fire him, promote Matt Patricia. Yep. Oh, crap, he doesn't work.
Yep.
Go get Vic Fangio.
And he's great.
I don't mind if you can't figure out the other side of the ball, it's not your specialty. I get it.
Yep.
D'Amico Ryans.
Yep.
I get it, right? Bobby Slowick's your offensive coordinator. C.J. Stroud's rookie year. He's not good enough. You get rid of him.
Yep.
Now, regretfully, you got rid. I get it. But if you can't figure out your side of the ball,
No, that's
Aaron
a problem.
Glenn,
Yeah.
like, if you can't figure out your side of the ball, now that's the problem. Like, Sirianni, you're an offensive guy.
Yeah.
Dating back to being the Chargers wide receiver coach when, like, 2007 with one of my other coworkers, James Jones, or whenever he was with the Chargers. James was there for a camp. So, like, if you can't figure out your side of the ball, then who can?
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
If you can't
Totally
figure it
fair.
out,
I agree
Totally
with
fair.
that.
then who can?
Here's something I want you to ask you both about. Chime in however you want. Something that we probably on this show don't even talk enough about, but it's there and we have to acknowledge it again. Jalen's now looking at his like 10th offensive coordinator in 10 years, it feels like, right? Like going all the way back to college. Like that guy's been in a new system every year, right? Generally, he's flourished, generally speaking. There's been some rough patches, this year being part of it, right? I worry sometimes when you think about the future of the Eagles and the future of Jalen Hurts. Sometimes guys, like, because Jalen has experienced greatness, right? He's been a Super Bowl MVP. He's played at an extremely high level. He shows what he's capable of. Sometimes these guys get a little stubborn, right? Because they deal with so much change. And I know there's some finger pointing going on, so I take some of this with a grain of salt. But like on the Athletic within the last couple of days, Michael Silver wrote an article. And Michael, like I know Mike generally digs in and tries to find truth. And Michael commented on just reports from within the building that there's kind of like, you know, an aversion to being under center. There's like reluctance to pre-snap motions and shifts, and like reluctance to staying in rhythm and making intermediate throws. Things that I think they were struggling with Jalen on just to do what we tell you to do. Now, this is a little bit mitigating to Kevin Patullo here, right, and Nick Sirianni. I'm not blaming Jalen, but I'm just telling you when a guy goes through this much change, it can stunt development and stunt growth. We've seen the best of Jalen. It's really, really good. And we've seen the bad where we're like, dang, is this the future of the organization? Like it forces you to ask those questions. So have you guys given much thought to like this collateral damage piece with Jalen and possibly like stunting development and growth? And now he's going to have to be really open to whoever comes in next. He's probably got an idea of what he wants to do, but it's going to be critical that he's open to whoever comes in next. And he kind of has this blank canvas, like the right posture of saying, all right, I'm ready for you to help us get better as an offense. And that's probably hard to do when you have a new coordinator every year. Am I wrong?
No, it's hard. It's hard learning a new scheme, and it takes time throughout the course of the year. I mean, the big thing too is verbiage matters. And what people don't realize is there's a lot of teams, most teams are running similar concepts, but you call it something different. So like when I went to the Indianapolis Colts my last season, Frank Reich was telling me, hey, it's the same offense we ran in Philly, same offense we ran in Philly. Matt Ryan's here. He's obviously adding some stuff, but it's almost 100% the same. I get there, the verbiage was like 97% different. It was like totally different verbiage. So that's like learning a new language that means the same thing. So I would call a play in the new verbiage, and for me to process it at a high level, I would then have to tell my mind once I called in the huddle and broke it, hey, this is actually Python. This isn't whatever.
Right.
What I knew really, really well. And it slows your brain down a little bit. When you can stay in the same offense multiple years, all of a sudden you can own it. You feel more comfortable audibleizing. You feel more comfortable calling plays. But also to the point of like, you know, fundamentals and everything, I believe you have to hire a coach that is going to work your fundamentals. I've even said it about John DeFilippo, who's our quarterback coach in 2017. Each and every day we went out there, he had an agenda. And obviously Coach Flip wanted to climb the ladder and have an opportunity to be an OC, then potentially a head coach. We knew that. But we benefited from us. Every day at practice, you go out there and you would be grinding through footwork drills, progression drills. It almost got annoying sometimes, but I look back, I'm like, man, thank goodness he cared so much to put us through that every day and cared about our – and he was hard on – we would have to watch back our fundamentals on all our footwork and all our details and all our progressions and how we stepped up in the pocket, how we got out of the pocket, how we turned our left shoulder, how – coaches don't do that in the NFL often. I mean, I played 11 years. I might have had one or two coaches that actually did that.
Yeah.
as a position. It was more so just, are you doing your reads right? All right, that's fine. Are you warming up right? Hey, just make sure you're warm for practice. Man, Flip had us out there every single moment doing something, getting better.
Okay, but you're open to it. Okay, so that's why, and I'm not saying Jalen won't be, but with all these changes, it's going to be really critical. Hey, I've got a Super Bowl MVP on my shelf. Yeah. Right? Is he willing to be open to the necessary changes to make this team better? That's the question. Like, I'm not saying he isn't, but what do you think?
Yeah.
Nick said something on y'all's show last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever the case may be, that I don't think enough people open their ears to. Hurts is going on maybe year 6, year 7 in the league. He's won an MVP in the Super Bowl. He's been an All-Pro. There comes a point in time where I believe Hurts should take enough ownership to say, this is my offense. This is what I like to run. These are the 10 to 15 plays that we need to have installed regardless. Nick, I think you broke down masterfully in the future, because you took me back to my college days where my defensive coordinator, Will Muschamp, would be like, hey, Ach, you call the defense on this drive.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you call it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you call the defense. You forget the mic, forget the wristband. Hey, you call the defense. I need you to understand how to call situational football. If you're Hurts going on year 7 and you got a Super Bowl MVP, bro, you got the second to third most authority in that building. Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Roseman, Hurts, and the coach. So at that point in time, whoever the new OC is, there should be several plays where it's like, hey, this is my offense. James Jones talks about Aaron Rodgers often, and not saying that Aaron Rodgers and Jalen Hurts are the same person, though they do have the same number of Super Bowl wins and Super Bowl MVPs. There comes a point in time where it's like, hey, this is what we do.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is what I want to do, and this is what I think we should do. As opposed to, Pontius Pilate, I wipe my hands with it, it's not on me. I also think some of that offensive coordinator turnovers on Jalen Hurts. If Jalen Hurts gets that ball down and Smitty catches it and the Eagles win that game, if there are several other moments that go throughout the course of this game, maybe Kevin Patullo's retained.
Yeah.
Brian Johnson. Maybe if Hurts was let's also remember, Patullo wasn't great, but Hurts also wasn't great. You feel me?
So 100%.
Like, there's several moments in time where Hurts isn't great either. So I can't just make Jalen Hurts immune to any of the change that he's had to deal with. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
All of it matters.
I think that's a great point. I just wonder, like, the Aaron example too, because Aaron's a great example of ownership of an offense. Like, Aaron in Green Bay really had two play callers, Mike McCarthy and Matt LaFleur, right? And they were together for a long, long time. And so if there's one mitigating piece with Jalen having ownership of an offense, because I think he should be at that point in his career, it's that the dude that's over there looking at his sheet calling the plays is different every year, right? That's hard. But like you said, you don't play at a high level, these guys get replaced, right? It's kind of a symbiotic thing, right?
You know how it is. And Nick, you know how it is at the highest level. There comes a point where you have enough clout within an organization where it's like, hey, this is what I like to run.
Yeah.
On this, like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, this down, like, y'all been there before. Nick, obviously, calling an offense, me collegiately calling a defense, or when D'Amico Ryans went down. When it's 3rd and 6, I know what play is about to come through the mic. And I'm surprised when one comes in that I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, there comes a point in time where it's like, 3rd and 6, man, okay, I know we're calling, like, even jet. 3rd and 8, I know we're calling even jet 2. I just know we are. I know we're calling even twist 2. You know what I mean? Like, 1st and 10, I know we're calling West Pack, or I know we're calling Ohio Pack Trio. I just know that we are. So, like, play call, there comes a point where you're intelligent enough, veteran enough, cerebral enough, where it's like, I already know what we should be calling, and the coach knows what I'd like to call. Or even a coach has come up to me when I was in Philly, my DC. Billy Davis, if I was ever starting for D'Amico or when I started for Kendricks, he'd be like, all right, Ach, when in doubt, here's what we're going to do. You know what I mean? Hey, when in doubt, we're going to empty check it to Elvis. Hey, would you rather, if they come out empty, you want to check it or you want to just play it? Hey, you want to call passing strength if they put 2 tight ends to the boundary? You want to call it to the boundary, or if you want to call it to the receiver split out wide outside the numbers of the field? Like, hey, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just think Hurts has to – he's too old and too accomplished for us to be having these rookie type of conversations about him.
Really good point. Do you have a favorite for an offensive coordinator for Philly that you would like to see inserted into that position?
Or shall I say, does LaShawn have one? Because you
I think 2 things. One, Eagles fans will hate. and two Eagles fans will love. Let me start with what they'll love. Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll, I think everybody should love. He knows that division. He knows that Eagles team incredibly well. Brian Daboll, his unwritten mandate is a mobile quarterback. Josh Allen worked with him. Danny Dimes, Jackson Dart, right? Brian Daboll, I also think, is cool not being another chef in the kitchen for a year. Let me chill. The one a lot of people are going to hate, I love the man. I will stand on an island. You know that meme on Twitter? It's like a bunch of people that got a bunch of knives pointed at one guy and like, hey, what one take will have you like this? Greg Roman. Greg Roman. I think
Greg's had a ton of success in the league, man.
Yeah.
In college and NFL. Ton of success.
The Eagles' strength is their running game.
Yeah.
Greg Roman maximizes a running game.
He does.
Greg Roman helps maximize running quarterbacks. Colin Kaepernick went to a Super Bowl with Greg Roman. Alex Smith was going to be a bust, had a resurgence under Greg Roman. Lamar Jackson won a unanimous MVP under Greg Roman. Now, do all defenses get adjusted to Greg Roman after a while? Sure. But Greg Roman solves a bunch of issues. He's never leaving to become a head coach. So Jalen Hurts, you're going to have that offensive coordinator as long as you're winning. The Eagles' strength is their running game. That's the check. Yep. And lastly, Greg Roman only needs one good receiver, and I don't see A.J. Brown being there much longer.
Yeah, I agree.
So we can move A.J. Brown. You can get a second-round pick and a tight end. You can, hey, Cleveland Browns, I know y'all got a couple picks. Y'all don't need David Njoku no more because y'all got Harold Fannin. Hey, let me get that second-round pick off you. Let me get David Njoku off you. Y'all take A.J. Brown. Oh, Browns, y'all need A.J. Brown. Like, Greg Roman is my dark horse.
Do Jeff Stoutland and Greg Roman jive together? Okay for you to because you're not getting rid of Jeff, right?
Hell no, you're not getting rid of Jeff.
So,
I think
can they roll together? Given because Greg's really a run game coordinator at heart, right? I mean, that's what he does, right? So I wonder how those guys would jive together.
I mean, I think it's one of those things where they both bring so much and have such a history of success running the ball.
Yeah.
I think it that's the one person that Stoutland can they almost impress each other. It's like, wow, we actually get to – now they might bump heads a little bit at certain things, but it could be dangerous because that team needs to be a run-first team and off of that do the pass. I mean, I like that choice, man. I think you heard it from the season pod, and I'm sure you've been talking about it. I like your choice, Greg Roman. I've always thought he was a great offensive coordinator, had success everywhere he's been, and Jalen Hurts is that type of quarterback. Brian Daboll was also with Jalen Hurts at Alabama, so there's a history there. So both those choices are great. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what the Eagles do in the future. I mean, this is an important hire. This is a very important hire for the future of the franchise.
All right, love the Eagles. We're moving on.
Boom.
All right, so let me go to McDermott real quick. Right, of the 10 openings this offseason, obviously 4 of them are already filled. I think the most surprising for a lot of people was Sean McDermott. We talked a lot about it on this show. Like back in week 5, I'm like, hey, if they don't make a deep run, I think Sean McDermott's in trouble. And that's exactly how things played out. He's been there 9 years, never made a Super Bowl, lost once in the wild card round, 4 times in divisional round, and 2 times in the AFC Championship game. But in 9 seasons, 8 playoff appearances. Every organization has different standards, and the Bills have risen their standards significantly given they have Josh Allen at quarterback, and they clearly think in this window with no Mahomes, we got to make a Super Bowl and make a run. They didn't do that. Sean McDermott on his way out. Acho, did this surprise you? Was it the right move? Let me ask that way. Was it the right move for Buffalo?
I prefer that one. Yes. Yeah, it was the difficult right decision. Sean McDermott's a really good coach, but good can be the enemy of great. I challenge everyone. Look at the AFC Championship game last year. Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs. 4 minutes, 53 seconds left. Scores 29-29. The Kansas City Chiefs have the ball. It is 2nd and 9. Sean McDermott's Bills defense are on the field. Andy Reid's Chiefs offense is on the field. The reason the Chiefs won that game is because Andy Reid was better than Sean McDermott. It was 2nd and 9. The Buffalo Bills are in motion. Andy Reid, he fast motions Xavier Worthy across the field, motions into a 2-by-2 formation. Travis Kelce, another wide receiver, is split out right. Xavier Worthy, he's in the slot left. Crossing route, pick route, Nick, you know it well. Pick route versus man coverage, first down. Chiefs go get 3 points. Score is now 32-29. 1 minute, 53 seconds are left. It's 2nd and 7. The Buffalo Bills have 2 timeouts. They're on defense. They have to get a stop. 2nd and 7. Andy Reid's offense on the field. McDermott's Bills defense on the field. 2-back set, but Kareem Hunt is at fullback. Isaiah Pacheco is at tailback. The Chiefs explode onto the ball. Bills don't have time to adjust. Set hut, half roll. You found Isaiah Pacheco in the flat. He stays in bounds, picks up the first down slide. Game over.
Game over.
You can say the Bills lose because of their roster, and that's in part true. But I can take you to film and say when all things are equal, the Bills lose because the coach on the other side is better than the coach on their side. Bills Chiefs, 2021, if I'm not mistaken, 13 seconds left. The coach on the other side is better than the coach on the Bills side. Now, do the Bills have roster deficiencies? Absolutely. Yep. Brandon Beane has drafted 2 Pro Bowl players since 2018 when he drafted Josh Allen, James Cook, Dawson Knox. Out of 56 players drafted since 2018, only 2 have made the Pro Bowl. So
he got a promotion, by the way. He got a promotion.
We got a promotion. Makes no sense. But the fact of the matter is, like, I would point to McDermott and say, hey, bro, there were times that you not being good enough cost us. You got to go.
Do you think that – so, ironically, like I wholeheartedly agree with you. That's a fantastic breakdown and recall, by the way. That's a hell of a memory you have of exactly how those games played out. But what's sort of ironic about the game that sort of did him in Denver is that Josh Allen wasn't good enough, right? 4 turnovers. One of them was not really his fault. He was hit in the pocket and fumbled. But the other fumble late in the half, that was both him and McDermott's fault because there's 16 seconds left. You have no timeouts. What the hell are you running for, right? You're not getting in field goal range. Even if he got tackled there without fumbling, there's not enough time to get on the ball and get yourself in field goal range. The half's basically over. Not worth the risk. And the interceptions weren't very good. And Josh obviously missed some key throws, 2 in particular, to Dawson Knox and then the interception down the middle of the field.
Yep.
Josh missed both those throws. I think the source of Josh's emotions, the raw emotions we saw from Josh, which is not very common with a franchise quarterback like this, and also we saw it from Deion Dawkins as well in the locker room. The source of that emotion was knowing that, probably the first time of all these, that Josh actually is the one that fell short, which is the hardest, the most difficult thing to analyze here. Yes, you're absolutely right. McDermott hadn't been good enough, but Josh fell short in the divisional round. Couldn't believe it when I was watching it. I know they allowed 33 points, but Josh fell short.
Yeah, Josh fell short, but it's interesting because I said this on the Speakeasy, and then Nick, I want you to chime in because I need a Q's perspective. Josh fell short, 1,000%. But Sean Payton made it so easy on Bo Nix. Mm-hmm. Y'all realize those PIs aren't freaking coincidence. I'm sure, I have to believe, that Sean Payton coached Bo Nix, hey, if you see 0, just throw it up there. Yep. And put so much air under the ball, the DB will never track it. It's either PI or incompletion, worst case scenario.
Yep.
Like, if y'all watch Bo Nix throw it, and I've rewatched this so many freaking times, Nick, I don't even know that he's trying to throw it to be completed. Like, he's throwing a moon ball, like Russell Wilson in his prime. The ball's just hanging up there. The DB can never track it. So it's either going to be PI or it's going to be incomplete. I think that's a coaching thing. Like, I want my most important coach to be my head coach. I don't want my most important coach to be Joe Brady. You know what I mean? Like, I want my most important coach to be my head coach. Sean Payton is the most important coach for the Broncos. Vance Joseph, phenomenal defensive coordinator. Sean Payton is the most important coach. Joe Brady is the most important coach for the Buffalo Bills.
No, yeah,
that's also why they're considering hiring him as their head coach. I mean, he's one of the guys in the mix, right? But like you just mentioned some scheme issues, and like that guy who's responsible for it is one of the guys up for the head coaching job.
Well, and from a quarterback perspective, especially versus cover 0, I mean, they're great teams. The teams that we're on were very prepared. We had standard operating procedures for different situations. Open field, cover 0. They're bringing more than you can handle protection-wise. You only have a certain amount of time, so there's unique concepts that work versus this. You know it's going to be man-to-man. You know the alignment. You know where they're going to be leveraged. You know where to attack. A lot of teams like throwing it outside, get it out quick, or throw a little screen. But if you really dial it in and say, all right, where are the weaker defenders? The weaker defenders are going to be on the slot players. So something we did that we took from the Seattle Seahawks, because Jimmy Graham was with Seattle with Russell Wilson, was anytime they saw cover 0, it'd be like, hey, easy, dynamite. You come in with a 7-man protection that buys you time because you're just waiting for the adder. So you could get a 3-hitch throw off. We ran this versus the Atlanta Falcons to win the game. I threw a touchdown on the L. That was basically what I told my receiver. Hey, you're running to the L. I'm going to throw it to the L because I knew it was going to be cover 0. But you're going with the slot receiver. You're throwing a moon ball over the middle of the field. Why? There's a lot of room. They're running at an angle on a lesser defender, which is typically a safety. Like you said, it's either going to be caught, it's either going to be worst thing that's going to happen is going to be batted down, or there's going to be PI. So there's more good things that are going to happen in those situations because the secondary defenders aren't great at tracking the ball, and they know timing-wise with the moon ball, man, oh my gosh, and the hands go out, they look for that, they go for the hands, the ball's not there yet. Or they have to adjust. Allen Robinson, when I played for the Chicago Bears, was great at this. He would see it, and maybe the ball was a little off target, a little bit behind. He would actually slow down and want contact and go up and flop to get the pass interference call. So those are things that are within the game plan that have been trained in Bo Nix from Sean Payton. I mean, listen, and that's another thing we're going to get into. You know, you have a backup quarterback in Jarrett Stidham, and even my wife and different people, a lot of people are wanting me to jump on conversation. That's why we have the season pod. We can talk about it right here, talk about the difficulties he's going into the game. But the thing about it is Sean Payton's a brilliant play caller. And if you go back to Drew Brees when he played with him, I mean, I remember playing against Drew several times. Drew was brilliant at all the quick stuff. Boom, boom. Hey, halfback read. Hey, here's a little screen. Hey, here's a little quick seam route. Just be efficient. I mean, Bo Nix is not being asked to be Josh Allen out there. He's just asked to run the offense. They have a great defense. They have a great team. And that actually, with a backup quarterback like Jarrett Stidham, it gives him a chance. Like, he doesn't have to, you know, Bo Nix can move and run around, but he's not asked to run around and do these things. He's asked, hey, at this time, hey, they're blitzing or we have a shot, throw it up there. Let our guys go make a play, or it's pass interference. Yeah, I think those are great calls. But that goes from coaching, that goes from scheme, that goes from, hey, this play call comes in, I recognize what they're going to do. I mean, I love that as a quarterback. You talked about it when you were playing linebacker. You knew what calls were coming in. I was like this with Doug Peterson. Doug would call a play, and I'd be like, oh, yeah, I know what he's thinking. I knew exactly first and second down if Doug was wanting a shot or wanting a completion. Hey, stash wrap first and second. Hey, you know what? He's wanting me to get 5 to 6 yards right here. This is what I'm going to find that completion. I'm going to go through my progression. Hey, you know what? It's third and whatever. We have hey, he's wanting me to rip this, or, you know, we're running a play action deep shot. Hey, right now we know that they're probably going to be in quarters. He's thinking post alert. Oh, they went cover 3. That's fine. I got the deep cross down in the flat. Whenever you're in tune with your play caller and when the play comes in and you realize, like, man, I know exactly what's going on, and Bo Nix and Sean Payton have that, and you've seen it on the sideline with them. I think the biggest thing I've been impressed with Bo Nix and his time with Sean Payton is, man, they have some pretty deep, aggressive conversations. I didn't even see Drew Brees having those conversations. So the Broncos, I know obviously the AFC Championship game, backup quarterback in and stuff, but what they have with Bo Nix and what they have with Sean Payton, and even Jarrett Stidham. I mean, Jarrett Stidham was Sean Payton's guy. That's who Sean Payton wanted there to be a backup. So he has his guy. He feels confident in his guy. I mean, Jimmy Graham was next to me in Chicago. He said, man, Sean Payton's one of the best play caller, if not the best play caller you've ever seen.
Yeah. No disagreement there. I got a stud, man. Okay, Acho, obviously we can't tell you how much we appreciate you joining us. We got you for a few more minutes here. I want to turn to Championship Sunday. All right, let's start with the NFC. So I think we got the matchup of what I thought, you know, if we think about the whole season, the two best teams in the NFC, Seattle and the Rams. I think we kind of felt that way for most of the year too. Seattle's favored by 2.5. Fantastic defense. The Rams are one of two teams that got the better of that Seattle defense at least once this year. Rams drops 37 on them in the regular season. Puka went off in that game for 225 yards. Is there a specific angle you have with this game? Like, which type of Darnold do we see? How does Matt Stafford play? How are you looking at this game and how this matchup's going to play out?
The interesting thing about the Seahawks game is I don't know if the Seahawks know what they're going to do because what they do doesn't work against the Rams. Think about this for a moment. Puka went off for 7 for 75 the first time. Rams scored 21 points. He goes off for 12 for 225 the second time. No Devontae Adams. Right. And the Rams score 37 points. So if you're Mike McDonald, what the hell is your game plan? You know what I mean? Like, defensive coordinator, he's guessing. He's guessing. Against the Niners, he knew what he was doing. Against the Rams, he's going to throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. Also, the Rams have Darnold's number. Yeah. Sam Darnold has 2 touchdowns and 6 interceptions in their 2 games this season. Matthew Stafford has 5 touchdowns, no interceptions in their 2 games this season. I am going to make Sam Darnold beat me. I am going to sit in cover 3. I'm going to tell my safety to shade to Jackson Smith, or I'm going to roll coverage to Jackson Smith. And Sam Darnold, you are going to have to beat me. I'm holding the Seahawks to under 100 yards rushing. And Darnold, if you throw for 370, 3 tugs, no picks, I'm just going to tip my hat to you.
Yeah, for sure. Do you,
You know
think
what I mean?
so
It's
they've
simple.
been running it like I think earlier in the season they had a run game that you weren't afraid of, but then the last 4 or 5 games I think they're averaging about 150 yards a game. Obviously losing Zach Charbonnet is a big deal. They had this 1-2 punch with
matters.
Kenneth Walker becomes the dude with Zach Charbonnet now out with a knee injury for the rest of the season. Do you trust the run game right now for Seattle? Does that scare you if you're the Rams?
It doesn't scare me because I can mitigate it.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, it would scare me if I was sitting in too high. Hell yeah, it would scare me. I'm not going to let it scare me. I'm going to come to this fight strapped. If I'm coming to this fight with a butter knife, hell yeah, I'm scared. And cover 4 is a butter knife.
Yeah.
I'm coming to this fight with fire zone blitzes. I'm coming to this fight sitting in cover 3. I'm coming to this fight bringing 5-man pressures. And I'm saying, Sam Darnold, what's up? Like, and you are going to have to beat me. And I do not, bruh. Sam Darnold went 12 of 17 last game, bro. They only threw the ball 17 times. We interviewed Julian Love in the Speakeasy right after they played the Rams the first time. And you knew Shady. Shady's reckless. So Shady said, hey, tell me about Sam Darnold, bruh. Y'all really believe in him? And Julian Love, safety for the Seahawks, was like, well, if we play really good defense, if we run the ball well, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
we should
that
be.
means no.
Yeah.
You feel me?
That's
Like,
your answer?
So, even the Seahawks team, they know.
Yeah.
They know.
Okay,
They know.
what about the Rams offense though? So obviously Stafford's a stud, and the receivers are fantastic. They sometimes though get a little too cute and get away from running the football too. Like against Chicago, I know weather was an issue in that game, but there were many times where I'm like, you just got 7 yards on first down, and you got 4 yards on second down for another first down. Then all of a sudden you throw it 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
I know you got this really cool toy at quarterback, and you got these receivers that are amazing, but sometimes they can get away from what I think allows them to be pretty potent too. I think McVay wants to be kind of impressive with drawing cool stuff up. That can be their Achilles heel though, right? Sometimes they get away from what they do well.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. If we're being honest, that almost cost the Broncos their game.
Yeah.
Like Sean Payton only ran the ball, I think maybe 9 or either 14 times between his running backs. Like, Payton, run the ball. You feel me? Like, run the ball. But Buffalo Bills have a terrible run defense.
Yeah.
Run the ball. Why is Bo Nix the leading rusher with 29 yards on like 7 carries? Yeah. Run the ball. But I know this much. Sean Payton going to be ready for this one.
Yeah.
Like Sean McVay. Sean McVay going to be ready for this one. He going to be ready for this one. So I see an incredibly hard-fought game. I see the Rams taking it by like 5 points.
Oh, you
but it's
Rams
going to be a good game.
Rams
are going to take it.
I think that line 2.5 screams like, go ahead, jump on the Seahawks and see what happens. I think it's a trap for the Seahawks. I think the books think the Rams are going to win, right? Which, I mean,
Really?
Dude, the Seahawks, now granted this last game throws this off big time, but the Seahawks have won 7 in a row. They have a plus 90 point differential over those games. Now, a lot of that's because they just won 41-6 or whatever it is. That helps your point differential, but they're beating the hell out of teams lately, especially at home, right? But they're only a 2.5 point favorite to the Rams at home.
Bro,
2.5.
Think about it, though. Sam Darnold gets to live a life without pressure against the Niners.
Yeah,
Nick, you noted. If every time the offense steps onto the field, they're ahead.
Yeah.
6-0, 13-0, 21-3, 24-7, 28-10, 35-10. Darnold ain't got to do nothing.
Yeah, he's trying not to
But
make a mistake.
all of a sudden, the Rams jump out there,
Yeah.
13 skunk.
Yeah.
End of the first quarter.
All right, so you mentioned Sean Payton. Let's jump over to that game. So right now, New England at Denver. We all know Denver has home field. They're the 1 seed. They're going to be home all the way throughout. New England is a 5.5 point favorite. Okay, so it's easy to look at this and say Jarrett Stidham has like 4 starts in his whole career, hasn't thrown a pass since 2023. New England's going to roll. But I'll tell you this. Jarrett Stidham will not play worse than C.J. Stroud just played. Like the quarterback they just saw, like Jarrett Stidham ain't going to throw 4 interceptions. Like Sean Payton won't allow it, right? If anything, he'll have him dialed up to do things that just don't require him to do too much and turn the ball over. Like Sean Payton will not allow that to take place. I don't see that happening. And that game at times, even though CJ turned the ball over as much as he did and was as bad as he was, that game was a battle at times.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh, this thing 21-16, like this is still in doubt. So going to Denver, even with a quarterback that we have no clue what to expect from him, this is going to be Acho, I think this is going to be a battle. I don't care who's playing quarterback for Denver. I think this is going to be a battle, especially with the way the New England game played out in New England when they played Houston.
For sure, a battle for 2.5 quarters. For sure.
Until we get to the middle of the third.
And why do you say that?
I mean, Jared Stidham eventually has to play. Sean Payton can only do so much. When Jared Stidham goes out there, Sean Payton can't do nothing about that, big dog. He can't save you. Like, Jared Stidham, you got to play. And I also think if you're the Patriots, how easy of a game. I'm sitting in the sauna earlier today before I hopped on with y'all, and I was like, I'm literally going to come out on the first play and just play drop 8 and watch Jared Stidham freak the F out. Because the play clock in his head is going to be like, get rid of the ball, get rid of the ball, get rid of the ball. And then he's going to see a gazillion defenders. Nick, you know how drop 8 is when you ain't played a lot.
I saw it a lot in college.
Bruh, he's just going to see a gazillion defenders back there and just be like, and just freak the F out. Oh, bro, it's the easiest game plan in the world.
So if you're Vrabel, you're not even thinking, let's heat him up. Let's just basically stand there and watch him screw it up, right?
Because here's the thing. I'm literally thinking about this all morning. Make Jared Stidham beat you. Don't make it easy on him to beat you.
With one-on-ones and all that stuff on the outside, right? Don't even give him a chance.
Hell no. I'm literally, in Philly, we called it Elvis, because Elvis, everybody leaves the building. I'm first play. I'm just, Sean Payton, show me what you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm going to make him show me your hand. Like, I'm not doing nothing crazy. Cover 3. Cover 3.
Yeah.
Cover 3. Cover 2. Drop 8.
Yeah.
Cover 3. Like, Peyton, what are you going to do? Because if you're Peyton, you got to come out the game and you got to run an owl screen. You got to run dice. You got to come out the game. You got to run a running back screen. Like, you got to get Jared Stidham comfortable. I'm not heating him up. Hell no. I'm just going to sit there and watch. All right, Peyton. Peyton, do you trust Jared Stidham or not? Now, if I'm Peyton, I'm probably coming out there, the craziest thing. Bruh, if Peyton comes out there and takes a shot, if he comes out there and goes like 8-man protect and just says, F y'all, like, because now if you're the Patriots, you're like, yo, I think this will be the most fascinating game to watch because Sean Payton is a evil genius. He kicked a freaking surprise onside in the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So if I'm Sean Payton, I'm probably going to come out and say, I'm treating Jared Stidham like a big dog because you're not going to win the game playing safe.
What do you think of that, Nick? I mean, sometimes I've mentioned the parallels on Nick in so many ways. Like people are, oh, Nick, tell us what you.
But here's a problem, and I got to stop. I argued with Shady about this the other day.
Go ahead.
And sorry for a second. I'm like, Shady, Nick had a season where he threw 27 touchdowns and 2 picks. Nick was good.
Nick had over 35 starts and over 50 touchdown passes, and had been to a Pro Bowl. This guy's had 4 starts, right?
Zucchini, bruh. He threw 7 tugs in a game.
True.
I was there.
But
so,
the pressure of being the guy. Totally, I made that very clear. I had to be the one to make that clear because I know Nick's too modest to do that. But the pressure of on our last episode, we talked a lot about the advice he would give them. Some of the questions I was asking Nick was like, well, what would you tell Sean Payton about how best to communicate the message to the team and get Jared Stidham ready? Because there are some parallels there. Granted, the player's entirely different, but hey, all this stuff is on the line. You haven't played very much this season. Here we go, right? There are some parallels from that standpoint, but that's kind of where it stops.
I mean, I was trying to do my part and help the Broncos the other day. I just thought, I think I always get great thoughts when I'm doing the dishes. It's just at night. I'm like, hey, this is actually a unique tweet. Usually I'm tweeting out links to our shows and stuff. I'm like, I'm going to send a tweet, obviously thinking about what the Broncos – because I know what that's like. I mean, when Carson went down, I know the feeling in the locker room. It's a tough feeling for the franchise and the team, and you feel for your players. But then I'm like, all right, how can I have a positive thing and end with a positive? I always, basically, hey, if you're a Broncos fan, the Patriots historically struggle with backup quarterbacks in championship type of games.
Love it.
And I didn't think it would go as viral as it did. I mean, it's 18 million views. Everyone's wanting me to talk on it. It's hilarious. Even my dad's like, I have all my friends sending a tweet. My wife's like, I can't believe you said that. Now, I didn't know you'd want to draw attention. I'm like, I was just being light in the situation. I wasn't being serious. I was just having fun with it. And obviously there's a lot of emotions. But that being said, I agree with you. It's very different. I got to play 3.5. I played in some mop-up minutes in 17, and then started the last 3 games of the regular season. I had already played a lot. I had already played in Philly and had a lot of success with Philly. A lot of those guys that I played with, like, saw me throw 7 touchdowns.
That's way different. That's a great point.
Saw me break like franchise records. Saw me go to the Pro Bowl. Saw me do all those things. So when I step in the huddle, they knew that was in there. It's just when would it come out, right? So then it was up to the coaches to build that game plan, and that's where when we got to the playoffs and had the bye week, we built the game plan around me. But I had to survive what we were doing with what Carson was doing because we were running his offense this last part of the season. Then we evolved it to what I wanted in the playoffs. I said it the other day on the podcast, Jarrett Stidham's battle, what he's up at, is way more difficult than what I did in the sense of he's only played in 4 games.
He
started 4 games. He hasn't thrown a pass this year. This is the AFC Championship game against the Patriots at home, and I agree with you, Acho. What you can't account for, like I guarantee you in practice this week, he's looked really good. I bet they're feeling really confident. But when you step on that field and you haven't played a lot, your body, your mind, your heart have not adapted to the speed of the game. And the speed in the play – okay, so he's used to the speed of the preseason. That's probably where he's played primarily. That is a lot slower than the regular season, which is a lot slower to the end of the regular season. Or the regular season is faster at the end. And then you get to the playoffs, and the speed is just insanely fast. And then the disguises and what teams are bringing are insane. Everyone's just – because you win the game, you keep going. You lose, you go home. So everyone's just emptying everything they got. It's a really difficult battle because I don't see how he's going to be able to see the field very well. I know for me, it was the second half of the division game against the Falcons where all of a sudden my vision just was like, it's here. And I knew it. I had a couple completions. All of a sudden, something inside me is like, I'm back. Like, I'm here. I'm adapted. I am ready to go. And I fired off like 10 to 15 completions.
That was second half of the divisional game.
Of the divisional game.
You had played 3 regular season games before that.
And I had played well. I mean, I threw for like 4 touchdowns. But I hadn't had the feeling of like subconscious thought just ripping the ball, balls flying out, footwork, moving. Hey, third and 8. Oh, I'm going to rip this corner out. It was that. And I remember when it hit, and I'm like, okay, it's here. Now we just got to win this game. And obviously defense came up big, and then we went into the NFC Championship game, and I was fully adapted, and we won 38-7 and just lit them up. And obviously I'm fully adapted going into the Super Bowl. But you don't know what's going to happen because of the emotions. But I had played, and I had played at a high level. I had shown myself what I was able to do, and I'd also shown my teammates and coaches, like, we're not just going to survive with Nick. We're going to thrive with him. And on his arm, on his throwing ability, we're going to win these games. Yeah. So that's the battle they face. It's a very difficult battle. I don't see him taking over the game. I do think the Broncos could win this game because of the controlled play calling by Sean Payton. They need to run the ball, and their defense needs to play balls to the wall. Stafford's going to need to throw a pick six or fumble the ball, and they're going to have to score on defense. It is very, very possible for the Broncos to win as a team. But if you're saying Jarrett Stidham, you need to take us to the promised land, you need to throw 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, whatever it is, maybe go catch a Broncos special pass.
Well, which I would argue they didn't even ask that of Bo Nix all the
no,
time, right?
But that's where, like, Tori and I were having this conversation because Tori always asks me questions before the podcast because she's curious.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I said is Bo Nix is not Josh Allen. Like, Josh Allen, you're living and dying every game with Josh. Denver, you're not. Yeah. Denver, you're just waiting for Bo to the fourth quarter, make a couple plays, and find a way to win the fourth.
Now, to be clear, I believe Bo Nix led the league in pass attempts, at least for most of the season he did. But
a lot of quick.
It's in a different way, though.
Sean Payton's a lot of quick throws, which actually helps. Like, Sean Payton knows how to call plays. I mean, Acho, you said, like, hey, you were convinced, like, those deep shots, like, we're taking advantage of a lesser defender trying to get a penalty or a big play. He does those things. But it goes back to this. I do think the emotional state of Jarrett Stidham, like, that is the most difficult to overcome, and that just comes – it comes, but you have to play, and he's not at that luxury of playing. Now
– go ahead. Finish your thought, Nick.
No, but the thing I recommended, because I always think, as opposed to just saying what's going on, like, all right, how do you sort of expedite it? My suggestion this week was, hey, this is the situation. Each day in practice, 3 to 5 plays, specific period, whether it's base down, third down, red zone – it's good versus good for like a special period, 1s versus 1, so Jared can see the full speed of his one defense. I know he's been going scout team, but scout team's different. Running the offense versus a number 1 defense in practice, I doubt they've done it. We used to do it in Philly. We used to do competitive periods against our starting defense, and they would run their stuff, we'd run ours just for the speed and the competition. Like, loser had like 10 up downs. So it's going to be a really interesting game. I mean, last time the Patriots played against the backup quarterback, like I said, in a championship game, they got beat. So will this be 2 for 2? We'll wait and find out.
Maybe your next viral tweet is, hey, man, people ask what advice I give Jarrett Stidham. 35 starts, 50 touchdowns, and a Pro Bowl. Sorry, dude, I can't help you. What do you got, E? What do you got? Any closing thoughts on this game? You got any closing thoughts on this game?
No, I mean, anybody who predicts this game is a liar because you don't know what Stidham's going to do.
Yeah.
So there's no true way to adequately predict this game. The only thing I was going to say for those that never played high-level football, but you've given a speech before. You can rehearse the speech in front of your mirror, but there's a book called The Body Keeps the Score, and it's about sleeping, but the body truly does keep the score. Bro, when Jarrett Stidham goes out there, even Nick, if he's gone against Surtain all week and Bonito and PJ Locke and Hufanga and Greenlaw, when you step out there after that opening kick and that national anthem, his palms gonna be sweaty. Like your body controls you. So like you can practice a speech at home all day, but when you stand there in front of that business meeting and you actually have to give that speech, all of a sudden it's like palms start getting like, it's like, wait, what the hell is going on? So I think how quickly can Jarrett Stidham respond to that what the hell is going on, and how many mistakes does he make in the midst of his body's natural human reaction? That's what's going to dictate the game, but nobody can guess that.
Golf is always a great analogy for so many things in life, and like until you've stood over a 3-foot putt to win the Masters, like there's no telling what the hell you're going to do when you stand over that 3-foot putt.
Dude,
right?
I was just thinking
that's the reality, right? That's why there's no replacement in any realm of life for experience.
Dude, when Acho was saying that, when music has power, like just before games, like types of music, getting your mind right, man, he just needs to be Lose Yourself by Eminem the entire time, just, just jamming. That's my recommendation, but it's going to be fun to watch. I mean, this is a tough task, and I am really intrigued to watch this game. I honestly, the day the news broke, I guess it was right after, like, I even was like having like anxiety, like replaying my emotions, like thinking what he must be going through, because you're obviously going to portray yourself as very confident doing that, but we're all human. It's overcoming the fear and the doubt and fear. And I always did that through faith, by spending time with the Lord, spending time journaling. Like I have a journal through the Super Bowl year where I wrote down all my thoughts because I just was flooded with so much emotion. I had to let it out. I was blessed to have Nate Sudfeld in the room. I was blessed to have Tori just talking through stuff and spending time with the Lord. That was my peace that gave me that calm and that comfort when I played in the game. Was like I knew the Lord was with me and guiding me, and I was just like, God, the one thing is, the victory, the loss, I just want to glorify you, but please, I just want to play without fear. I just want to play without fear. I know fear doesn't come from you. So, those are things where this is one of those moments for him where, getting rid of the fear, leaning on the Lord, going in this battle real. And I think too, and I said it, the way you counteract it too is when you step in that huddle, we all feel like at times we're alone out there, like, because you're just thinking about what your job is. What always gave me peace was looking at my O-line and looking at my skill players and my brothers and the sidelines and the defense, and realizing, like, I don't have to be Superman. I literally just need to do my job and just trust the coaches with the play call. And when that play call comes in, that's the only thing that matters. If it's quick game, I know it's catch, set, throw. I know if it's this progression, trust my progressions. Find the defenders I'm reading off of, like I've been taught, and do that. Simplify it. You honestly got to get to your subconscious thought. If he can do those things, block out the fear, block out the emotions, which is extremely tall task. Hasn't been done many times at all in the NFL. He can do it.
Get it done. Okay, on that note, before we let E go, we got to let him go. Otherwise, we're going to have to start paying him. I don't want to have to do that. He's too expensive. So we got E in the first game. Give me – I know you like the Rams. You said the Rams by like 4 or 5 points. That's your pick?
Yeah, if I'm just – guessing top of my head, let me go 24-19.
Rams 24-19. Nick, what do you got?
Dude, I'll tell you what. I'm going to go against you. I'm not going to give you a score because I have no idea where this game's going to go. But what I saw the last time Sam Darnold and the Seahawks played the Rams, at the end of the game, was it overtime?
Second half is where he vindicated himself. Yeah.
There was something in his mind that shifted, that I feel like he faced his demon and beat his demon. I'm counting on that to be true, and we see a Sam Darnold that can go out there and lead the Seahawks to the Super Bowl. it doesn't matter, man.
All right.
I just think they're going to find
I
a way.
got Seattle by about 3. I got them by 4. I think Seattle's going to win this game. I totally get where he's coming from. I thought the Rams were the best team in the league all year long, but something's pushing me another direction here after our discussion and everything we've talked about. So I'm going Seattle. All right, New England, Denver. E, what do you got and by how much?
This could get ugly at the end, bro. I see a pick 6 by Jared Stidham.
He said 2.5 quarters.
Golly, this could get ugly.
So
at
you
the
got
end.
Patriots for sure coming.
I'm gonna go. This is interesting. I'm gonna go 34-23.
Oh, you think Denver scores 23 points? Interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 30. Some special teams BS, maybe a short field or two. I'm gonna go 34-23.
Okay, Nick.
You got the Patriots winning? Just clarify.
Of course.
Oh. I'm in a unique situation where I've been there and been a part of these kind of games. And honestly, it's weird being on this side. Now I know what all the fans and all the commentators were thinking when I was playing. Everyone's like,
you guys were dogs in every game and you were killing people.
But like, I never felt that because I was in the building and I was confident. But now,
you guys were like a 7-point dog to the Vikings.
But now I feel what everyone thought when I played,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Man, this is just a waste. Like, this is the NFC. Oh, this is the Super Bowl. Let's just hand the Patriots another ring." And that being said, because of that history, I think Denver is going to find a way as a team to win on a last-second field goal against the Patriots,
Woo!
and Jared Stidham will be. But I will also say this: when a quarterback, and I also make this prediction. Jared Stidham might not be the only quarterback playing in this game for the Broncos. When you haven't played that long, I think we could see Sam Ehlinger play in this game.
Yep,
Hook
especially
him.
in the red zone, Nick.
And honestly, I will tell you this
Especially in the
about
red
Sam. Sam is a baller and a gamer and can do things with his legs and make plays. So even if Sam goes in there, I'm confident in Sam because I've been around Sam and I know he's got the makeup in that moment to handle it. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just tough. It's just a tough game.
Yep.
I think Denver finds a way last second. Find a big, completion, run, get in the field goal range, kick that field goal, make it to the Super Bowl. I got Denver.
That makes one of you. I've got the Patriots 23-13. I don't think look, Denver's been a trouble offensively for a lot of the year. There's games where you're like, oh, they're so good in the fourth quarter, they come back. Well, compared to the first 3 quarters, a lot of that's because they didn't play very well offensively in the first 3 quarters. So they look really good in the fourth quarter because of it when you compare them. So I like the Patriots to win by at least a touchdown. I'm going to say 23-13.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good about that too. But then again, every time I feel good about something, it doesn't happen. So we'll see. All right,
Nick, you
Acho.
have Jared Stidham and Sam Darnold in the Super Bowl, by the way. I just hope you know that's what you spoke into existence.
That's what he did. There's no question. That's wild, man.
Hey, it's just where it is, man. These young guys are just finding ways to do it.
And some people didn't like Tom Brady, Nick Foles in the Super Bowl, and that turned out to be one of the best ones we've ever seen.
I will tell you this, and this is so I walked in the Super Bowl. This will be the last thing. I remember walking in because I also have self-awareness, right? I'm not oblivious to everything, but I'm also confident in myself and my team and the organization helped that, and obviously my faith. But I did walk into the Super Bowl in Minneapolis, and we were doing a walkthrough, and I looked up at the banner, and I saw a big one of Tom Brady. And I saw a big one of myself next to him. And I remember just sitting there and I just started laughing to myself. And I'm like, this is hilarious. Because I knew what everyone was thinking. Like, wow, like this is comic. This is comic. This is the game. This is exactly what the NFL wanted.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that people got to realize is, and I've said it, it comes into the preparation every week. It comes into, what you identify, where your identity is. Mine is in my faith in Christ. My teammates, the preparation, all those little things that people don't see is what gets your mind right and your heart right to step on the field. Those are things that we can't see from Jared Stidham that people can't take into account to any of these quarterbacks. You do not know. I even stepped on that field before the Super Bowl when we were doing photos and stuff and had a laugh at it because I knew how crazy it was, but I also knew they were going to be in for something, and I believed we could overcome them and we could find a way to win because I believed in ourselves and I believed in myself because of the way I prepared and what I had done with my teammates. I knew, when I stepped in that huddle, man, I got guys that are going to make plays. I'm just going to throw the rock to Acho, and I'm going to do this. LeGarrette Blount's going to score. We got dudes. Defense is going to hold it up at the right time and make a play. So who knows? That's why I think the Broncos have a chance when everyone's counting them out is there's something that happens within a locker room where teams rally around guys when they're injured, and, Bo Nix will be there, that this Broncos team, their superpower right now is every single person in America is counting them out. And I know that feeling, and it creates a superpower inside of every single player and coach in that locker room that no one can account for, not even the New England Patriots. So it's going to be a unique game, and I'm excited to watch it.
That's good, man. E, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you coming on. You're a busy man. Every time I flip on the TV, you're on there somehow, some way. Seeing that beautiful face, looking all smooth, man. We thank you so much for taking the time to do this. Can't tell you how much we appreciate it.
Right. Hey, it's a pleasure, man. I'll talk to y'all soon.
Yeah, that is episode 29. Emmanuel Acho joins the show. If you're listening on YouTube, make sure and hit subscribe. Check us out on Instagram @TheSeasonPod. And if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, obviously we appreciate that as well. That is episode 29. Enjoy Championship Sunday.